I'm wondering too if Belinda's having trouble signing in as well then.
Yeah. This the time I get up no problem. Oh.
Okay, Shannon, I'm just getting, I think she has to end the meeting. Shannon? She's just telling me she thinks she'll have to end it. Okay to do it on Shannon's end, she's saying. So we'll just link back into the same one? Okay, and she apologizes. So everyone that's online with us, you're going to get cut off the meeting and you'll have to re-link into the meeting. We apologize for that.
Thanks, Cheryl. Short meeting. I love it. See you later.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I'll catch you in the rebound.
Okay.
Thanks.
We're asking that everyone have their cameras turned off except for council and the CAO. And then when staff would come on later, they can turn their cameras on. So I'm seeing Steve is part of our meeting. Steve, I'm wondering if you could please turn your camera off. And for council, at the top middle of your screen, you have a view arrows, and you can go and view active cameras only, and then it'll bring up just council and Gail. That helps you. I know for myself, just when I'm looking for hands and that sort of thing, it was a bit difficult when we got lots of people on. Thank you, Steve, for turning your camera off.
I didn't get any response from Belinda, so I'm not sure.
Okay, I was chatting with her earlier. I wonder if they got delayed because of the accident.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Are you trying to text her, Gail?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
John come to the meeting tonight, Cheryl, do you know?
No, John sends his regrets, so as soon as we officially open, I'll say that as well again.
This
Okay.
conference will now be recorded.
If I can get a mover and a seconder, please, to open up the meeting. Drago. And Peter. Okay, moved by Drago Stefanik, second by Peter Kistemaker. Be it resolved that we do call this regular meeting of council to order on Wednesday, June 16th, 2021 at 6:05 p.m. Those in favor? And that is carried. Okay, just as I was saying before we opened, that Councillor John Paroff has sends his regrets for this evening's council meeting. And we're going on to item number 2, and there is an amendment to the agenda. Proposed amendment is to add 15.3 to set a special meeting date. Staff just got word today on this, these dates. So if I can get a mover and a seconder for the resolution to approve the agenda as amended. Peter and Belinda. Moved by Peter Kistemaker, second by Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved that council does hereby approve the agenda as amended. Those in favor? And that is carried. So moving on to item number 4, disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof and declaration of conflict of interest. Council, you can do that at any time now or throughout the meeting. Unfortunately, today I have to declare a conflict. I'm just going to read my conflict out. So I declare a conflict of interest on agenda item number 20.2 of the agenda for the above noted meeting, which is listed as June 16th, 2021 on the form. Or on the topic of property taxes for the following reason stated general nature, related to one of the people listed on the documentation, will not be attending the closed session. So due to that conflict, council, we will need a chair to take that portion of the meeting. Unfortunately, John, Councillor Paroff, is my deputy for this year. So I will need a volunteer from council to chair the closed session. And I have a resolution for that. As soon as I know who would like to volunteer to chair that portion, I can read out the motion. Belinda, would you like to volunteer? Thank you for that. Just a second. So the motion would read, be it resolved that council does hereby appoint Councillor Belinda Kistemaker to chair the closed session of council this evening, Wednesday, June 16th, 2021. And if everyone's good with that, I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Drago and Peter. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you, Belinda. Okay, so carrying on with we have item number 5, adoption of the minutes, 5.1. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Drago and Peter. Moved by Drago Stefanik, second by Peter Kistemaker. Be it resolved that the Council of Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of Council held on Wednesday, May 12th, 2021, as distributed. Any comments on the minutes? Those in favor? And that is carried. And our next adoption is the special meeting minutes. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Peter? And Belinda? Moved by Peter Kistemaker, second by Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby adopt the minutes of the special meeting of council held on Wednesday, May 19th, 2021, as distributed. Any comments on the minutes? None from council. I do have one question about our special meeting minutes. Is in the past, Gail, we've never made comment, and I think because of this certain one, it stood out to me for the presentation, is that there's quite a lengthy comments for 9.1 that is in basically interpreting the presentation. And I'm just concerned that in the comments, it could be perceived that we're motioning one way or another, or that council was gearing one way or another. And the same thing when I reread the part of the presentation for 7.1 for the municipal affairs and housing, they encouraged us to do some things in there, and I'm just not sure if that would be the proper procedure. Like with our other minutes, it's always just the resolution, right?
Well, we do sometimes do a little write-up for the presentations. It's not, they are longer than normal. But I just was trying to get across what they were, I guess, talking about for people who don't see the meeting. But we can change it if you want them amended. We can just take it out and just do a statement that they presented, period.
Yeah, I'm just concerned that I don't ever want us to be lining ourselves up where it shouldn't be. And it was just the one with just of what they encouraged us to do and that sort of thing. But it's up to the feel of council of how we want to do this. And we need to hammer it out. That's why I thought the opportunity to bring it up today, because we do have our procedure bylaw coming into force in November. And as we hammer these things out of how we want our procedures and our policies to follow suit. So I open that up to council. Are you good with the way it's written, or do you want it just to state the presentations, the two presentations? Go ahead, Councillor Stefanik.
Madam Mayor, I have no problem with the issue at all. I think it's being transparent. That's what actually transpired. No decisions were made. No recommendations were made. I like the transparency so the public could see the full discussion that occurred. That's my take on it, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stefanik. I would like to say as well that during the discussion, it's always one person's interpretation of how it goes. So we have to remember that into the future of what, I think that's why they protect councils by resolution only, is so that there isn't, it's what we resolve to do is what's passed. So anyway, those are my comments on that. And I don't know if we want to have further discussion before our procedure bylaw to ensure what would be included in the future. Do I have consensus on that for direction? Drago, Peter and Belinda, to include this as a discussion? Okay, then I put that as up for vote now for these minutes. Those in favor? And that is carried. So we're moving on. Item number 6, we don't have any deputations this evening or presentations. Petitions, there being none. 8, disbursements. We're moving on now to managers' reports. And just before I move the managers or ask for a mover and a seconder, Gail, I have one quick question. For the managers' reports, can we just include the second report about accepting the report from the CSMT onto this one?
You can if you like. I just didn't know if you wanted to have a specific reference to like a biannual report in your minutes. So it's totally up to you.
Okay, if we want just for that, then maybe we should include it's the biannual report because it just says report number on the next motion.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so if I can get a mover and a seconder for just the manager's reports, please. Councillor Stefanik, Councillor Kistemaker, Peter. Okay, moved by Drago Stefanik, second by Peter Kistemaker. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby acknowledge receipt of the manager's reports provided at the regular meeting of Council held on Wednesday, June 16th, 2021. Those in, or we'll leave that till after the reports for the vote. So the first one is yours, Gail. Do you have any comments or discussion that you'd like to say before I open it up for Council?
I do, actually. I thought of a couple of other things. Just a sec here. That I wanted to add. So just that a few of us got together, being that the bedding plants were sitting in the containers from the store. Mayor Fort and Councillor Belinda Kistemaker and Stacy and myself got together one day last week and did the hanging planters, planted them. They're still not up, but they will be going up shortly. And then I need to thank Stacy for planting the big planters and the medium-sized planters around town on the weekend. I helped her a teeny bit, but she did it all. And it was more so just to make sure the plants survive. So anyways, we're excited to see the new planters. They look wonderful. And I'm excited to see how they work with the self-watering and how that goes. So thank you for that. And we're going to be ordering signage for the bears to ask people not to climb on them because it's doing some damage to them. So I was speaking with Al Arnovich yesterday. He's been doing the upkeep on them the last few years along with a couple other people, and he was fixing them again yesterday. So I think that's probably the best thing to do. So thank you to Al for all his work. And there will be going out this week. We were talking about getting together and getting a survey out as well as a letter out with regard to possible airport expansion. So Mayor Fort and I had a meeting with each other, a couple of meetings actually, to sort of figure out what we wanted to put out there on behalf of the township. So I'm everything's almost ready to go. I'm just waiting for a couple of more things, a couple of pieces of information, and hopefully those will go out this week. And hopefully the input will help us to make some decisions. So they're going to go out to corporate contacts and current and potential future users of the airport, looking for input and ideas on how we can accomplish a runway expansion. And the only other thing I wanted to draw to your attention was, I should have marked it. I was looking for input for, oh yes, training. Where was that? For the diversity, equity, and inclusion training. We're looking at getting that for both staff and council, and thinking it's best to do them in two separate sections, just so everybody's comfortable speaking. You know, you never know what there might be some things that people might not want to say. I don't know. I don't think so in this case, but I think it's probably better to do that. For staff training, as I say in my report, we're going to be reaching out to surrounding communities to share costs like we did with our report writing and our, I forget what the other one was. We did it with two different training sessions with AMCTO to share costs. So I'm just wondering if council would like us to reach out to surrounding councils and do the same thing on that level so that we can all get the training and do it at a more reasonable cost. So I'm just looking for input on that.
Okay, we'll start right there. Council, you're okay to share costs? We'll get more people involved in the training? Yeah, you've got consent on that, Gail. Okay, I open up the floor for any comments or questions for our CAO from council. Go ahead, Councillor Stefanik.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Thank you for a very extensive report, Gail. The only question I have, thank you to Michael for working with the ADC. Will you be advertising that position and obviously in the near future to that second year? Is that's because the grant was already received, I assume? And
Actually, you have to apply for the second year.
Okay.
And we weren't quite finished that process yet. So what we'll have to do is reapply for a new, to the new program. There's a new program out there.
Yeah.
Had we be continuing, we would be able to continue with the old program.
Okay.
But now that that's not going to be the case, we'll just have to apply to the new programming.
Thank you for your information.
Is that everything, Councillor Stefanik? Yes? Okay. Any other comments from council? Or questions for our CAO? None from Councillor Kistemaker-Peter? Okay, I reiterate the sentiments to Michael. I'm sorry to see him leaving soon, and the best wishes to him in his future endeavors. And I hope his experience here in Hornepayne was good overall. I know it was very difficult through this pandemic, COVID time to be working from home, and we didn't really get to have the same camaraderie that you would have in an office environment. And I do have just one comment. For the diversity and equity training, do we know when that is looking at happening? And what kind of format it is? Do we have anything like that yet, Gail?
If Shannon can speak to that, she's been dealing with the provider. She knows a little bit more about that than I do.
Okay. Shannon, would you like to turn on your camera and you can answer? Thank you. Nice to see you. Hi. Okay, and when do you need to know that by? Can we have till next meeting for council to decide, to think about it? And then if reaching out to other communities. So am I hearing you right that you could take these as you go, or do we all get together as a group? Okay. Okay, okay. Okay. Okay, yeah, that would be great. I think that would be a good idea for council to see if there's a different options or what the options are, just to manage people's time coming into the fall, and then to ensure it fits with our other meetings and agenda items that we have going on. And I've seen Councillor Stefanik, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, through your Mayor, to Shannon. Do you know the total hours for the training by any chance? The total for all the modules, please, would you know? Okay, thank you. Right, right. I understand, okay. The only thing I would recommend by taking over many training over the years, no longer than a 3-hour module. After 3 hours, it becomes senseless and people are focusing. I just finished doing one 3 hours. In my personal opinion, it's the right time. No more than that. That's my input, Madam Mayor.
Thank you for that. Okay, well, we'll discuss that so we can expect that to be on our next agenda or our next regular meeting to discuss, and so that ensure that you have direction. Okay, great, Shannon. Thank you for that. Okay, that was my only comments. Thank you, Gail, for your report. And so we'll move on to our next report, which is our Client Service Manager Treasurer's Report. And we do have a special resolution for this report. So if I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Drago and Peter. Sorry about that. I just wanted to fill it in properly. So moved by Drago Stefanik, second by Peter Kistemaker. Be it resolved that council hereby accepts report number CSMT 2021-7 biannual financial report as information. And that we open the floor now to Melissa. Hi, Melissa.
Hi. I just have a few items that I'd like to add since writing the report. I went on the property tax and the water and sewer arrears to compare them from 2020 and 2019. So at this same time for all those other years, this year it's about 120,000 taxes. There's about 120,000 more this year than 2020, and about 307,000 more at this year and as 2019. So I'm going to go from January to December for all 3 years and graph out a trend of how it's been fluctuating throughout the years to see if it's just June or like in certain parts of the years that are higher or lower, because it seemed that 926 or 923,000 was quite high when I was shocked by that amount. And same with the water and sewer. So I'll bring that back to council next council meeting with that shows a trend. So the water and sewer this year or this time last year was 243,000, and then in 2019 it was 232,000. So it's a little bit less than last year at this time, but on par for 2019. So I will trend, and so council will have more information to view what's going on with the outstanding accounts. And the only other thing that you can see is I wrote in my report that BDO hadn't got back to me, but now that there's a special resolution on the table, they have got back to me with 2 possible dates. So
Okay,
that's all I wanted to add.
Thank you for that, and we look forward to that trend. And do you think it has anything to do with COVID? Well,
that's why I added in the 2019, because the 2020 and 2021 were pretty high, and then 2019 the property taxes were 619,000. So yeah, I was thinking that it was related to COVID, and plus the fact in 2020 we skewed the dates for when things were due. So I wanted to go back a third year so it could be comparable. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I'm just thinking too, the accessible hours to even pay bills like that, that's a barrier to people, especially if you're not already on a payment system with a bank or whatever. That
Yeah,
just,
absolutely.
for sure. So, okay, well, do you have any other further comments for your report? Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. And I open up the floor for council for any questions or information on the report. I do have a comment, Melissa. I was thinking about this when I was reading your report. Thank you. It's very well done. And I think it gives us a good moving forward, being able to see where we are at every half of the year. So, and I'm glad to see it being implemented now. So we have a few cycles before the next council comes on board. And, but I wanted to say, is there any to take care of arrears, to have incentives for people to pay their arrears? Can we build that into our community improvement plan, that say if we had an incentive in the community improvement plan, say to, I don't know, fix your yard or something, that you have to be completely up on your taxes for a period of time previous to that, if you want to go after those incentives? Do you know if we can incorporate anything like that to try and bring our arrears up so that people are paying on time?
I don't know. I'd have to defer that to Gail. I'm not sure too much about the community improvement plan.
Okay. I was thinking about the arrears. That's why it came up.
My guess, I don't know for sure, but my guess is that you wouldn't be able to, because you'd be discriminating, I think. I know they took that right out of running for council. That used to be in there, that you had to have your taxes paid up and your water and sewer paid up before you ran, and it was considered discriminatory, so they took it out. So that's kind of what I'm thinking it may be. We can look into it for sure, but that's my guess.
Okay, yeah, I think we need to look into it, because it's a little bit different for now. You're not paying your taxes, but now you stand for an incentive. Like, it's a little different than running for an election. I can see where it's discriminatory that way, but on the sense, like, I thought there might be a way that we can incorporate it. And I think it would be fair. So is there any further comments on Melissa's report? Okay. So I'll put that motion to the vote to accept the biannual financial report. Those in favor? And that is carried. Okay, so we'll continue on, and we have the Economic Development Officer. Stacy, would you like to speak to your report before I open up the floor to council?
I can take questions if anyone has questions.
Hi, Stacy.
Hi there.
Okay, I open up the floor for questions for Stacy. Councillor Stefanik, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Through your mayor to Stacy. Do you have estimated time when the work will begin on the Pavilion Park, please? Thank you.
So we have some of the equipment already in, and some of the equipment is ordered. So I actually had contact with both suppliers for the fitness equipment and for the toddler park today. And they're both, the production is slowed down because they're missing parts. So they're waiting for a few aspects before they can actually build the equipment. So they're going to get on their suppliers, but it has to do with the border shutdown and stuff like that. So they're supposed to get back to me by the end of the week to give me a timeline, because we have work that needs to be done ahead of time. But we kind of have to wait for that before we start. Those are our two big first things.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stefanik. Thank you, Stacy. Any other questions for our economic development officer? I didn't have any questions for you, Stacy. Okay, so if we'll move on to the fire chief. And I don't think our fire chief is present tonight. Go ahead, Gail.
I had asked him if he'd be able to pop in, but I think with what happened, he probably got thrown off his schedule.
Yeah, so we did incur a bit of an emergency in the fire department today, so. Is there any comments that council would like to leave with Gail for the fire chief? I'd just like to thank the fire chief for their hard work, for his hard work. I like that membership, the participation has been dealt with. That's pretty awesome. I know for years we struggled getting members, so that's great. And I encourage anyone in our community that wants to join the fire department to contact our fire chief and get involved. I think they're a great organization. So we'll put the motion to a vote for all the managers' reports. If I can get those in favor. And that is carried. Okay, moving on to correspondence action items 10.1. So it's a support resolution. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Belinda and Peter. Moved by Belinda Kistemaker, second by Peter Kistemaker. Whereas the township has received correspondence from the town of Perth, wherein they are requesting support for provincial hospital funding of major capital equipment. And whereas council realizes the tremendous strain that the purchase and maintenance of capital equipment places on hospitals, particularly small hospitals like our own Hornepayne Community Hospital. Therefore, be it resolved that the council, the corporation, the township of Hornepayne does hereby support the town of Perth's letter attached, requesting the province of Ontario to be financially responsible for the replacement costs associated with all major capital equipment in hospitals, or alternatively, that they develop a legislative framework to assist with addressing the financial shortfalls facing hospitals in Ontario. Be it finally resolved that this resolution be sent to the Honourable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, and the Honourable Christine Elliott, Minister of Health, for their consideration, with copies sent to Michael Mantha, MPP, Algoma Manitoulin, and the town of Perth. Any discussion on the motion? To the vote, those in favor? And that is carried. And I just a shout out to staff, that was a well-written motion. Most of our motions are, Hornepayne. You don't realize how good we got it. Okay, moving on to 10.2, Hearst Power Distribution Company. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Drago. And Peter. Moved by Drago Stefanik, second by Peter Kistemaker. Whereas the Township of Hornepayne is looking to investigate possible options to deploy a fiber to the home internet service in the municipality using a third-party service, and to examine options to obtain government grants for such a project. And whereas the Township of Hornepayne has received a proposal attached from Hearst Power Distribution Company Limited, HPD, wherein the general manager would conduct a high-level review of available options with the understanding that a second, more in-depth and focused study would need to be completed before implementing any of the options. Therefore, be it resolved that the council, the corporation, the township of Hornepayne does hereby accept the proposal from HPD to conduct the Phase 1 fiber to home internet service study at the cost of $5,000 plus HST, with the understanding that acceptance of this quote for service does not impose any obligation on either party to authorize or pursue further analysis or purchase. Be it further resolved that staff be directed to work with HPD to expedite the completion of the study. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, the only comments I have on the motion is I do think it is a really fair three-step approach. I do think we need to get some research done for our community and what options are out there. And we have expertise that are willing to do this first step for us. And I think it is imperative not to jump into a huge like $40,000 commitment until we know a bit more preliminary measures and data before we make that decision. So I put the motion to a vote if there's no further comments. Those in favor? And that is carried. And moving on to 10.3, DD West, if I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Belinda, Peter. Moved by Belinda Kistemaker, second by Peter Kistemaker. Whereas the Northeast Superior Regional Broadband Network, NSRBN, was founded to facilitate the development, installation, and operation of a broadband network to promote economic growth, resiliency, and improved access to health and education services. The project in each of its member communities, and whereas the Township of Hornepayne, along with several other municipalities and First Nation communities, had been an active member of the NSRBN until March 24th, 2021. Resolution number 2021-099. And whereas all communities who were involved with the Northeast Superior Regional Broadband Network has received an invoice equally split from DD West LLP for legal costs incurred up to April 15th, 2021, with services rendered more specifically described as negotiation and development of a proposed corporate structure, preparation and presentation of a PowerPoint for NSRBN regarding corporate structure, virtual meetings, telephone calls, and emails with NSRBN and Crown Capital, drafting and review of legal documents, including resolutions, non-disclosure agreement, term sheet, unanimous shareholders agreement, limited partnership agreement, preparation of negotiation point summary, and research and legal advice regarding First Nations issues, municipal legislative issues, governance, corporate governance issues. And whereas the Township of Hornepayne's share of the invoice is identified as $6,696.19. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby agree to pay to DD West LLP the Township's portion of the invoice in the amount of $6,696.19 for services rendered as a previous partner of the Northeast Superior Regional Broadband Network, NSRBN. And I open the floor up for discussion from council. Go ahead, Councillor Stefanik.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, to CEO Gale. Was this billing expected by the administration team?
No, it was not.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think from my perspective, Drago, as well, it wasn't expected. I looked back at meeting minutes, and the other thing too is during the meetings that I had attended along with Councillor Peroff, we were asking for these legal documents, and I don't even know what we've seen of them so far. What have we seen, Gail?
I don't think we've seen any of the legal documents. We were looking for the shareholders agreement. I mean, I know that's ready now, like it was ready at the very, very end, but when we were asking, it wasn't ready. And the only other thing that we had access to that we had asked for was we asked for the application, copies of the application that went into the CPC or whoever it was, UBS, yeah. And we did eventually get that, but we never did get, at the time we were asking, we never did get any of the legal documents. They kept saying they're not quite ready, we'll get them to you soon, and we didn't get them.
Right, so I'm thinking, this is my thought on this, council, and I don't know how we figure this out, but if we're paying $60,000 between the 9 communities, $60,265, it would lead me to believe Crown Corporation must be paying a similar fee in legal fees. That seems high to me. When originally The intent was back in the June meeting that Crown Corporation was supposed to underwrite all of these costs. And you'll see that in your minutes in the, I think it's, if you look at your agenda package, it's the August minutes, I believe.
I think July.
Or sorry, yes, the July. And then in the August minutes, it reverts.
Sorry, it's the February 18th, 2021. I'm just looking at my summary sheet. February 18th, 2021, statement read communities having to share legal costs.
Yeah, that's when it came up at the meeting, because I remember questioning what the legal costs were, because I asked you, Gail, at that time to dig out our agreement, because my concern about this is that we didn't enter into an agreement to pay for this, to share this cost. And, you know, and there was many people at the NSRBN table that is in regular meetings, and I don't know what they all saw as contributing. So I'm not, and we have not budgeted for this at all. Go ahead, Councillor Stefanik.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor. As you know, I read all the information very thoroughly analyzed. I never saw any legal documentation regarding that project, number one. Number two, I asked the administration, they were not expecting the billing. They were not informed previously. I, as one member of council, are not prepared to pay for the bill. Thank you.
Well, I definitely would like to know some more background information, and I'm with Councillor Stefanik right now. I do not want to pay for a bill that we did not agree to paying, that we didn't, like, we were part of the NSRBN, and even so, like the April 15th meeting, we didn't even attend. We were already out by then, and we pushed this because we were trying to do more research on our end. I open up the floor for further comments from council. Councillor Belinda or Councillor Peter? Go ahead, Councillor Kistemaker. Peter?
In agreement with you guys on that. I feel that man was kind of forced in this and anything out of it.
I'm having trouble hearing you, Peter. I'm sorry.
I just said I'm in agreement with you guys. I feel that not that her hand was forced, but this wasn't really, I don't ever remember seeing this as part of the deal.
Yeah. Like, it was a significant, I remember when we signed up, because we did originally pay a certain amount. I can't remember what it was, Gail. Was it 1,000 or 1,500?
We paid $3,000. Well, we passed a resolution to pay up to $3,000, and I think it was just below that. And then when there was an amendment to the collaboration agreement, we agreed to an extra $1,000. All the communities did, and that was the only money that we agreed, like formally agreed by resolution to pay. And they did mention at the one meeting that you and I were both at, and I asked about it at the meeting, saying that, yes, there were going to be legal costs coming to the communities, and we spoke up and said, hey, there was that Crown was supposed to underwrite those. And we asked at that time, or somebody asked at that time, well, do we know how much it's going to be? They couldn't even give us an idea of if there were going to be charges, what they would be. They couldn't tell you if it was like 2,000 or 10,000. And you would have thought they would have had some sort of an idea at least.
Yes, yes. Okay, so any further discussion from council? Go ahead, Councillor Kistemaker Belinda.
Have you talked to the other communities that were part of this, and do they feel the same way as you are feeling, or are they willing to fight this, or as well as us, or is there any background with them?
Is that for Gail?
Yep,
Okay.
I talked to, I reached out to White River, Wawa, and Dubreuilville, or not Dubreuilville, sorry, Shaplo. I only heard back from Wawa, and they paid theirs.
Hmm. And did they give you any reason why they paid it? Did they have a discussion about the documents or?
No, they just paid it.
Well, I'm not in favor of paying it. I'm really not. Like, we didn't say that we would pay this money. We didn't know that it was coming. And this was part of the discussion we had about being part of the NSRBN, that there was no structure, that these types of decisions is exactly what we needed to be making. Councillor Stefanik, go ahead. I see you're unmiked.
I agree with you, Madam Mayor. I'm 100% unequivocally, I'm not paying this billing. They did not provide any legal services directly to a municipality. Why are we going to be saddled with a $7,000 bill? Other question. The answer is no.
Okay, so if council decides not to pay the bill, Gail, what do you see as next steps?
I would say we write a letter with the reasoning behind it and send it back to them. And I don't know what they'll do about it, if anything, but I mean, are they really expecting to get that money from every community when only 2 wanted to go forward with the project? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's, well, we can definitely start there. Send a letter back to them with the reason, with the defeated resolution, because I have questions on the invoice itself. It doesn't really give an hourly rate or what was spent, what was purchased. Like, it gives you an overview, but and then what was the original agreement that was signed and who signed it that they hired? Because the one question I had when I read this is, when you hire lawyers, you got to give a retainer. Why wasn't it discussed then? Because that's where it goes back to. Crown Corporation was supposed to underwrite it. They were supposed to take care of it. So now it's, now the communities haven't signed on and they don't want to underwrite it. Go ahead, Councillor Kistemaker. Belinda?
Just one question. When you talk about the $3,000 and the $1,000, did you already pay that?
The $3,000 definitely was paid. It was, I think it was $2,900 and something. Melissa would probably know better, but that was the original collaboration agreement was signed in 2018. So that expense came out probably early 2019 or something. I don't really remember. And then they asked for another 1,000 from the communities. And I don't even know, they asked for approval for another 1,000, up to another 1,000. I don't even know, without looking back, Belinda, if that was paid out. I'd have to, because it was a while ago. It would have been like 2 years ago. But we've never been asked for any money since. So, I mean, we can find that out for you, but I can't look it up right at the moment.
So, but the original 3,000 that we gave, that was for the project manager, right? To hire the project manager. And then my understanding is the extra 1,000 was supposed to go to legal fees in that document, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Like, that's our commitment right there. And if we haven't paid it, that's the only thing really that we owe. And who did we even say we were going to pay that to?
This says that, I'm just looking at the resolution, so that's 2020-96. And it's authorizes the amendment to the collaboration agreement, which amounts to $1,000 contribution for additional financial and legal advisory services. So I would have assumed we would have got a bill from like the NSRBN to each community, but I mean, it's since progressed since 2020 into having hired a legal firm, right?
Yeah. Like, that's what gets me is, okay, up until this point, every time we needed money to move along the NSRBN, there's precedents been set that they've asked, we give a resolution, we give money. And now, I think what happened is when you go back through the minutes, the municipalities were never supposed to cover these costs. And we don't have a resolution saying we were going to cover them. Like, so is there any other discussion from the floor before I put this to a vote? I'm not seeing any further discussion. So I put the motion to a vote. Those in favor of paying the bill? There's none. Those against the motion? And that is carried, defeated. So moving on now to 10.4. And this is a support resolution. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Here you go. And Peter. Moved by Drago Stefanik, second by Peter Kistemaker, whereas the Township of Hornepayne has received correspondence from multiple municipalities requesting advocacy for reform to the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection and Privacy Act, MFIPA. And whereas Township staff is in agreement with the items outlined in the correspondence and finds the supplied information to be accurate, therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby support the attached resolutions from the Township of Guelph, Uramosa, Municipality of Leamington, Township of the Lake of Bays, the Township of Terrace Bay, the Township of Plympton, Wyoming, requesting that the Ministry of the Government and Consumer Services review the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act and to consider the recommendations as outlined in the attached resolutions. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Ministry of Government and Consumer Services for considerations and copies be sent to the municipalities listed above for their records. Any discussion on the motion? There being none, I put it to a vote. Those in favor? And that's carried, none opposed. And moving on to 10.5, and this is a support resolution as well. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Peter and Belinda. Moved by Peter Kistemaker, second by Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne hereby supports the attached resolution from the town of Fort Erie requesting that the federal government cease further consideration of eliminating capital gains tax exemptions on primary residences. Be it further resolved that this resolution be circulated to the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau and the Honourable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, for their considerations, and copies be sent to Carol Hughes, MP Algoma, Manitoulin, Kapuskasing, and Michael Mantha, MPP Algoma, Manitoulin, and the town of Fort Erie. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, there being none, I put it to a vote. Those in favor? And that is carried, none opposed. Then 10.6, if I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Drago. And Belinda. by Drago Stefanik, second by Belinda Kistemaker. Whereas the Township of Hornepayne has received a proposal attached from Matrix Canada 284532 Ontario Incorporated, wherein the company proposes to provide an economical transportation program by partnering with Ontario Northland with the objective of providing a 3 to 6 day per week service connecting White River, Hornepayne, and Hearst, and also to provide daily bus service within Hornepayne. And whereas community bus transportation would be an asset for seniors, youth, and adults of all economic backgrounds for connecting with major centers for shopping, medical appointments, family time, and tourism. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby provides in principle support for the proposed project and authorizes staff to work with Matrix Canada to further investigate the proposal and discuss, if appropriate, the development of a memorandum of understanding between the Township of Hornepayne and Matrix, and to work with their consultant to providing support for any funding applications applicable to the project if it moves forward. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, I put that to the vote. Those in favor? And that is carried. Okay, moving on to 10.7. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Peter and Belinda. Moved by Peter Kistemaker, second by Belinda Kistemaker. Whereas the Township of Hornepayne has received a proposal attached from Food Cycle Sciences Corporation, Food Cycler, wherein the company proposes to an implementation partnership for Impact Canada Food Waste Reduction Challenge with the Township of Hornepayne. And whereas part of the Council's mandate through the Waste Management Committee is to investigate alternative waste management practices that will reduce refuse going into the municipal landfill site and that are environmentally friendly. And whereas Council sees great merit in this project, which supports climate change goals with the multiple benefits of waste diversion, the production of compost, and the provision of data that could be used to develop a future organic waste diversion program. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby agree to support the proposed project at the cost of up to $4,000, excluding HST, and authorizes staff to work with Food Cycle Sciences Corporation, Food Cycler, to participate in the Impact Canada Food Waste Reduction Challenge program if the appropriate staffing resources can be allocated to the project without impacting the work required for current initiatives. Be it further resolved that the project would require an upfront cost of up to an additional $4,000, which would be reimbursed by participating residents. Any unsold units can be returned to Food Cycler. Any discussion on the motion? I do have one question for the motion, Gail. When we were discussing, there was able to allocate project time to this without.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we spoke to our casual staff member, and she's willing to take the project on completely. So it's going to be her baby, and
Okay.
we're looking forward to it. I'm really excited about this. So yeah,
Okay.
she's going to do it.
Okay. Great, that's awesome. And so just to clarify, so the $4,000, all of it would be reimbursed, like there would be no cost in the end, like there's an outgoing cost, but there would be no cost, or?
No, the municipality share is 1/5 of the $500 cost per unit. So if we, I think a skid is 36 units. So if we purchase 36 units, we actually have to put out $7,200. But 3,600 will come in because the residents will pay 100, the township will pay 100.
Okay.
Okay.
And where did we, where are we going to transfer that cost? Do we have any money in our waste diversion program?
I know Melissa was going to be looking at the waste management accounts, so maybe she could speak to that.
Okay, thank you for that.
Hi. So we have $17,000 budgeted in our waste department.
Melissa,
However,
can I just interrupt you for a second? Can you turn your camera on just for the sake of our recording? We all know you, but other people don't. There we go. Thank you. Continue.
So we have 17,000 in the budget for advertising and public relations for the waste. However, we don't know how much the hazardous waste day is going to cost just yet. So once we find out how much that money will be for the year, maybe we'll have an extra 4,000, and if not, it could come out of the reserve. And if we do have to take it out of the reserve, it'll have to come back to council for resolution anyhow.
Okay. But if we're able to manage it within that 17,000, that would be good.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you for that, Melissa.
You're welcome.
Okay, any further discussion on the motion? I don't see any. I'm putting this to a vote. Those in favor? And this is carried. None opposed.
Oh, yeah.
And we're on 10.8. If I get a mover and a seconder, please. Drago. And Peter. Moved by Drago Stefanik, second by Peter Kistemaker. Whereas the Seniors Community Grant Program helps enrich the lives of older Ontarians by helping them combat social isolation and anxiety through safe and community-based activities. And whereas the Seniors Community Grant Program focuses on projects that align with the 4 pillars, which help improve the lives of older adults in the province, enabling aging at home and in communities, safety and security, remaining healthy, active, and socially engaged, participating in the labor market and economy. And whereas the Seniors Community Grant Program encourages seniors to get involved in their community by supporting hundreds of projects with funding ranging from $1,000 to up to $25,000. And whereas the projects can be focused on the following areas: volunteerism, learning, financial awareness, social inclusion, elder abuse prevention, mental well-being, physical activity, and programming can be delivered remotely or virtually. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby authorize the CAO clerk to submit an application for funding to the Ministry for Seniors and Accessibility for the 2021-22 Senior Community Grant Program to help enable municipalities and local organizations to deliver programs for older adults to stay active in the community. Deadline to apply is Thursday, July 15th, 2021 at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Be it further resolved that this grant will only be applied for if the staffing capacity can be managed. Any discussion on the motion? Go ahead, Councillor Stefanik.
Yeah, through Madam Mayor. I think it's a wonderful program. I'm familiar slightly with it. The bottom line is this program is 100% funded. You can't go wrong with this program. And I hope that the administration team does find capacity and staffing, especially for this one, because it's 100% funded. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stefanik. My question is to you, Gail, is this something that we could recommend to the Municipal Service Corporation because they have senior space within their building and then they can look at doing a program out of there or something?
I would say absolutely you could, yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So I know we have a meeting coming up. If we were to, we could give them information too. Is it limited to just one person applying from the municipality?
No.
No? Oh, so multiple groups could apply?
Yeah, you could. Yes, somebody, one of the senior management team brought up the other day when we were discussing this that it might be something the hospital might want to look into as well for long-term care. The seniors group could apply. Actually, an individual can apply on behalf of an organization as well.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything in mind currently for the township? The town staff, have they?
Not specifically. We were supposed to get together and brainstorm before tonight, but that didn't happen. So I mean, we'll have to go back to our senior study and see, you know, what's in there, number one. And we can speak with the seniors club as well to see what they, you know, what their priorities are. I mean, that study was done a couple of years ago now, so we can, you know, check and see if we can help them out with something.
Okay.
But nothing specific right now, because for myself, I haven't had a lot of time to look at the guidelines yet. So it'll take some discussion.
Okay. Well, yes, if we could definitely give the information to the MSC, and even if they don't apply this year, whatever that board decides, at least they understand that this is available into the future.
Yeah,
Is there
for sure.
further discussion on the motion? Okay, seeing none, I'll put it to a vote. Those in favor? And that's carried. I guess we'll know an update at our next, by our next meeting, whether we were able to put something together, eh?
Yes.
Thank you for that, Gail. Okay, so now we're moving on to correspondence, information only. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Drago and Peter. We're gonna have to redo this resolution. I messed it up, but anyway. I have it correct right now. Moved by Drago Stefanik, second by Peter Kistemaker. Be resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby acknowledge receipt of the correspondence information only package to the agenda at the regular meeting of Council held on Wednesday, June 16th, 2021. Any discussion on the information only package or anything that you'd like to highlight from the package, Council? Go ahead, Councillor Stefanik.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm looking at item 11.10, the response from President and CEO Richard Adam. I'm deeply, deeply disappointed. The questions and answers to the annual letter were not addressed. They were circumvented with their standard information. The letters go out stamped, basically, and the signature. I'm deeply disappointed with that response. I just want to go on the record for that. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I resonate everything you said. Any other further comments from information only? I would just like to highlight a couple. 11.9, what I wanted to highlight there was I just wanted to bring up that we are going to need to start budgeting for Integrity Commission every year. And just to, we're seeing this annual report and what the services are. And I don't know if Gail, if you want to speak to this further.
Just I was speaking with Fred Dean the other day, and him and Nigel have gotten right out of the Integrity Commissioner business because it's basically turning into a rat race. And it's from his perspective, he feels that it's not really a good system. It's making people, instead of focus on the positive, it's making them focus on the negative. And there's all these things happening that are costing lots of money for investigations, and it only seems to be increasing. So I think you're right. We do need to start setting some money aside for that occurrence in case it happens. And then just to the report itself, I didn't actually feel that the report was very well done. I found it a bit misleading, and I actually ended up calling them because, of course, I don't have it up in front of me, but it was it listed two. There were two. Sorry, there were two. Two requests for inquiry were received about the behavior of members of committees or local board. And I found that kind of misleading. So I said, well, were they from Hornepayne? Like, I never heard anything about them. And they said, oh, no, that was just within, the communities we deal with. And I just don't see the point of reporting that type of information. So I think a better report would be, you can do a regional thing, or maybe not regional is not the right word, but a group report, but then they should be reporting on our local stuff. So I'm going to address that with them, and maybe get something better for next year. Hopefully it'll have nothing on it, but but yes, I agree that expenses are going up. There's more and more investigations, and I think that we do need to budget.
Okay. And I'm not even sure what that budget would look like, but I'm sure staff can come up with a good recommendation to build a bit of a nest egg there. The second item that I wanted to point out was the Mayor of Kapuskasing's letter on 11/17, I think, which was really well done. Mayor Dave Pleward reached out to me a week ago Monday, just discussing about the further closures within the PHU. And I know just from our own residents and people in our own community, and after talking with Dave and the different mayors across the region, it was a worthwhile effort to try to get some more mobility for our area and for our businesses. That was one of the big concern, was that our businesses not being able to open, and then causing people to know that the rest of the province around us is open, and then shopping elsewhere, and then hurting businesses, and then creating actually for safety of the residents. I did do a follow-up conversation with Dr. Catton on Monday. So just to reiterate, the letter went out. We had our meeting. She had a media release last Thursday about the region not opening up with the rest of the province, and then I followed up with a phone call on Monday with her. And I totally can empathize that it is a difficult position to be in for the Porcupine Health Unit and how vast the region is. At the same time, we had a really good dialogue, but I had to say, like, we have to stand for our community as well, especially when people are not understanding why is other places opening and we're not, and our numbers are so low. And also, I just want to applaud our small community here that have done so well through the pandemic, that this isn't a time to drop your guard. It's still wear the masks, follow the protocols. I know it seems long, and what my understanding is, hopefully, if everything stays the course over the next week and a half, we will see us go into phase 1 with the rest of the province if everything stays the course. So it wasn't the best news. I know for myself, I was personally wanted to see us open and get some normalcy back. And but I do want to thank the Mayor of Kapuskasing for getting that letter together and reaching out to all of us. There was 11 mayors that he reached out to. So is there any further discussion on any information only items? Okay, and then I'll put that motion to a vote then to accept the correspondence information only package. Those in favor? And that's carried. Okay, moving on to 12, donations. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Belinda and Peter. Moved by Belinda Kistemaker, second by Peter Kistemaker. Whereas Crime Stoppers is a charitable community program which empowers people to make their neighborhood safe through the anonymous reporting of crimes. And whereas the increased outreach of the program in 2020 led to a successful year. And whereas the Township of Hornepayne has received correspondence from Crime Stoppers of Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma District requesting a donation of $500. And whereas the donation would help boost awareness of the program in the district, which would hopefully lead to more people calling in tips and would also ensure enrollment in the Friends of Crime Stoppers membership. Therefore, be it resolved that the council, the corporation, the township of Hornepayne does hereby agree to donate $500 to the Crime Stoppers of Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma District to support their programs and awareness in the district. Any discussion on the motion? Go ahead, Councillor Stefanik.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you, I agree with the donation 100%. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stefanik. I do have a couple of questions. Council, do you have any questions? Any or comments? My question is, Gail, is our membership, is the $500 part of the membership? Or like, are they going to be looking for an annual membership fee?
I reached out to them after we spoke yesterday or Monday, whenever that was, asking if it was a one-time membership, a one-time, with an annual renewal, or was this because we're getting signage and everything from this one, is that to cover the expenses for that? And also, if they were, going to prorate membership fees for sizes of communities and whatnot, and I didn't get a response, so I can't answer your question, unfortunately.
Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Stefanik.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor. Historically, over the last 7 years, there was a times the municipal council donated to that cause, was no strings attached. I recall that going back 4, 5, 6 years ago, and I don't recall any contract being drawn. They asked for a donation. The council at that time made a donation. I don't think there was any further contract or anything else, but certainly the administration could check on that. Thank you.
Yeah, I have no problem with the donation. I just don't want it to seem that I don't want to set a precedent that we'll donate every year at that cost. And the signage is really well done if that's the 2 signs we're getting. And I also really like that we're going to be on their website for 1 year. So we are part of this. That's why I was confused about the membership, is because you get this recognition on the website and the signs and the decals and stuff. So if we could just find out further those, just so we know what the expectation is. So if there's no further questions or comments from council, I'll put the motion to a vote. Those in favor? And that's carried, unopposed. Okay, continuing on, 13, there's none. 14, committee reports. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Drago and Peter. Moved by Drago Stefanik, second by Peter Kistemaker. Be it resolved that the council, the corporation, the township of Hornepayne does hereby acknowledge receipt of the 2020 annual report and the minutes from the Hornepayne Public Library Board regular meeting held on Wednesday, March 9th, 2021. Any comments on the motion? Go ahead, Councillor Stefanik.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor. Just to note that the CEO of the library, it's the first time that type of report came across. I think it's very telling what's happening at the library, even with COVID-19. But it tells you in a glance what transpired instead of reading 5, 6, 10 pages. And I think Darnell did an excellent job, Madam Mayor.
Yes, I have to agree that it is well done. And I like the colors, and I like that it's one page. So, Drago, just a question to you from being on the library. It's a new format that they're looking at using, like all libraries?
Yes, she had different meetings and workshops, and the whole board was actually quite impressed by that one page.
Okay, that's great.
I like it.
Thank you for that. If there's no other comments, I'll move or I'll put the motion to a vote. Those in favor? And that is carried. Okay, moving on to 15.1, COVID-19 CCG update. And Gail, I'll hand that off to you.
Okay, so I pretty much put in my report most of the stuff, so I'll just do a brief recap. We know that we're the only district in the province that did not move into step 1, and we're anticipated to go into step 1 on June the 25th. So essentially nothing's changed for us, and we're remaining in an extended lockdown. Then I had spoken about the letter from the mayor of Cap that's endorsed by several other mayors. Dr. Catton's very concerned about the Delta variant that is becoming more and more apparent in actually all over the place, but in our region as well. It's 50% more transmissible than the Alpha and Beta variants. And although that they say that the data is still being tracked, it's all expectations from the medical world indicate that variant will cause more serious illness than the other variants. So all the more push to get the vaccines into people. So we've got a clinic coming up tomorrow. It's a Pfizer clinic. It's fully booked. I believe there were 75 appointments. And then we have a Moderna clinic on Tuesday. And if I'm not mistaken, now don't quote me on this, but I was told there's up to 300 appointments available. So hopefully that's true. The clinic's running from 11 to 6, I believe. So it's with 10 immunizers. So it's a big clinic. It's a big clinic for us. So that's exciting. I hope that people go out and get their second doses. That's open to anyone over 18 or over 16 if they had Pfizer. Good uptake in the vaccine in Hornepayne so far. So hopefully that continues. And then yesterday on my ministry call, there was a report that since the testing levels have really come down in the province, I think they're sometimes between 11 and 17,000 tests where there used to be sometimes 70,000 tests a day. The active cases have come down to between 290 up to 400 maybe a day. Anyways, now that the testing rates are lower, they're actually going to be screening every positive result to see what kind of variant it is in the province, as long as they can handle that. So those results take up to 14 days to come back. So it's not going to be immediate reporting, but it's certainly going to tell us what's going on in the province. So other than that, we have our next meeting as usual tomorrow afternoon, and I don't anticipate any real news, although the rates of cases do seem to be coming down a bit in our region the last couple of days. The majority of them are up in James Bay and Hudson Bay, but even those rates seem to be coming down. So let's cross our fingers that it's, on its way down, and we're going to come out the other side of this soon. Thanks.
Yes, thank you for that, Gail. And yeah, I just quickly checked while you were talking, there's 238 appointments currently available for that big Moderna clinic on the 22nd. Any questions about the COVID update from council? Okay, I don't have any either. Thank you, Gail. So moving on, we have the council meeting schedule. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Peter and Belinda. Moved by Peter Kistemaker, second by Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved that the council of the corporation the township has hereby agreed to schedule council meetings per month in a virtual meeting room, with the exceptions of July, August, and December, for the following dates and times for the second half of 2021. July 14th, 2021 at 6 p.m., August 18th, 2021 at 6 p.m., September 22nd, 2021 at 6 p.m., September 29th, 2021 at 6 p.m., October 13th, 2021 at 6 p.m., October 27th, 2021 at 6 p.m., November 10th, 2021 at 6 p.m., November 24th, 2021 at 6 p.m., December 8th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Be it further resolved that the meetings are being set with the intention that the first scheduled meeting of the month will be for the purpose of discussing and dealing with regular council business, public deputations included, and that the second scheduled meeting of the month will generally be for the purpose of deputations, presentations, training, and if necessary, urgent business that cannot wait until the next regularly scheduled business meeting. Be it further resolved that the second meeting of the month will be canceled with due notice if there are no agenda items as identified. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing that, oh, we just lost, oh, there's Drago. Seeing none, I put the motion to a vote. Those in favor? Okay, two. Oh, everyone's in favor? Okay. Sorry, I think I had a lag there, and Drago, you had chopped off the screen for a minute on my end. Okay, that is carried. Okay, moving on to 15.3. This was our amendment to our agenda. So if I can get a mover and a seconder, and then we can open up for discussion. Peter? And if I can get a seconder, Belinda? Okay, so we have moved by Peter Kistemaker, second by Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby set the following special meeting of council in a virtual meeting room for the following reasons. Monday, July 5th, 2021 at 6 p.m. for the presentation of the Township of Hornepayne's 2020 audited financial statements by Nathan Duell, CPA, CA, BDO Canada, and a presentation of final report for water and wastewater rate study and water financial plan by Watson and Associates, Gary Shudlin, Managing Partner and Director, and Navreet Baines, Consultant. Or Wednesday, July 7th, 2021 at 6 p.m. for the presentation of Township of Hornepayne's 2020 audited financial statements by Nathan Duell, CPA, CA, BDO Canada. And I'll open the floor to you, Gail, to explain the choices. And just to note, Drago, your mic is unmuted.
Oh, sorry. To let you know, I was frozen, so I had to get off and come back in. Thank you.
Oh, that's what happened. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Just to let you know, it glitched on my end. Just for a second, you were gone, and then you came back.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Go ahead, Gail.
Okay, so we only heard back from these two parties today, which is why we couldn't put it on the agenda when the agenda went out. But so BDO is only, Watson's is only available July 5th and July 14th. July 14th is our regular meeting, so we could have them come that day. And BDO is available the 5th or the 7th. So that's why I've got it set up that they could both be done on the 5th, Monday the 5th, or we could do BDO on July the 7th and then have Watson's at our regular meeting on the 14th. And we need to get, sorry, I was just going to say, we need to get our water financial plan done because we need that to get our drinking water license renewal, which is due at the end of July, which they're well aware of and all that. But I just think it's better to, from myself, I think it's better to have them on the 5th and sort of make sure we're in on time with the ministry and make sure everything's good.
Okay, so I put the question to council. Are you available on Monday, July the 5th at 6 p.m. for a council meeting, for a special meeting? Go ahead, Belinda.
I should be available.
Available, okay. Peter's available, Drago?
I have 3 personal appointments out of town, which I've been waiting because there's a lockdown. I have no idea what's going to be booked, so I can't make a commitment. And one is obviously health reasons to follow up on my operation. So I follow the rules and regulations. So that's why I didn't leave our community because we were locked down. I wish everybody else did that. And so once we opened up, I'm gone. And once they confirm, they'll try to come. Hopefully, they'll confirm with me in the last month of June, because I'm hoping that 25th will be released for everybody to travel.
Okay, So either date, you're going to have a hard time committing to the 7th.
Yeah, I just want to be upfront so everybody knows.
No, that's
From here, I will attend, no question.
okay. Well, I think with that in mind, I think we should set for the 5th. That'll give staff time to have the water and wastewater rate study done. Hopefully John can make it. And that it would fit your schedule around your other appointments, Drago, and I do empathize with that too. I've been rescheduling all my appointments every month. So if council is good with that, I will check off the Monday, July 5th, and that will just be for the 2 presentations. And then nothing else will be put on that agenda. We have a regular meeting on the 14th. Okay, is that okay, so I put this to a vote that I have moved by Peter Kistemaker, second by Belinda Kistemaker, and I have checked off Monday, July 5th, 2021 at 6 p.m. for a presentation of the Township of Hornepayne's 2020 audited financial statements by BDO and the presentation of the final report for water and wastewater rate study. So there'll be 2 presentations. So I put that to a vote. Those in favor? And that is carried. Okay, our next item is 15.4, council updates. I'm just going to go around the table and ask for updates. Councillor Belinda Kistemaker.
I don't have anything right now. But maybe I should talk about that thing I went to for the conflict of interest thing where they were looking for questions or answers to questions from the council or members of council. Why I should bring it up to you guys is they are actually looking for us as a board to answer the 4 questions as a group and as part of the survey and send it in. So what I'll do is I'll send the information to Gail or Cheryl on what they're asking. And if you want to put what you think we should apply or send in and on the survey to help to get our message across, then we've done our due diligence. Are you guys okay with that?
Are we able to submit on our own, Belinda? Like if you
can. They're actually looking for that too.
Okay, so if we can get it, if Gail, you'll be able to ship that out to all of us at council and we'll submit it on our own. And is there a due date for this survey, Belinda?
Yes, it's the middle of, I'll look it up and I'll get back to you.
Okay, no problem. Just as long as we know there is a due date coming up. So if you can fill out the survey and submit it. Go ahead, Gail.
So Belinda, if you can just forward everything to me, I'll distribute it that way. I think it's just better to do it that way. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Overall, Belinda, was the session well attended? Was there lots of people on the session?
It was hard to tell because there was, well, you didn't see anybody. It was basically over the phone. And you basically were rushing to put your answer in. And all you heard from anyone who did answer is, I don't know why I wasn't picked for the other question type thing, because everyone wanted to be heard. So it was kind of entertaining, but it was short and to the point. So it was okay.
Okay. So there is some issues out there that need to be discussed then between relationships. So, okay. Well, I look forward to getting that from Gail. Thank you for that, Belinda. Okay, and was there anything else, Belinda? That was it?
That's it.
Okay, moving on, Councillor Stefanik.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Real quickly, I attended the Phenom on May 18th from 8:30 till 4 p.m. And this is no disrespect to the organizing committee. It was subpar conference. I spent 7.5 hour time well wasted, I think you call it. A couple of things. Broadband came up. Actually, I emailed Gail my response. Telesat, Speed, SpaceX, all the new satellite stuff. The answers to the elected official and current government were canned questions. They were pre-done and then answered. People knew like it wasn't even close to the phenomenon that I attended for many, many years. I was very disappointed. And that's my take on it. I also taken the Walker Clean Water Agency responsibilities under the statutory standards. Excellent presenter. It was 2.5 solid stuff. There's some updates as well. I was very happy. I had a test at the end. I was kind of excited. It was only 10 questions. We had about 16 people, super interactive people from Manitowoc. There were some from Northwest, Northeast, myself. It was the presenter was superb. I give it 4 out of 4 on that presentation. I truly enjoyed it. Our library board meeting continues to go on. The PHU meetings are continuing as well, and finance committee PHU is continuing. It's very difficult to make those decisions as far as the opening and closing. As I said to Dr. Catton, and it was an open meeting, my biggest fear was, number one, people will travel anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, they're going to devastate the local business in communities. Not only Hornepayne, Hearst, Cap, Metaisville, Cote, including Timmins. There was hundreds and hundreds going. I mean, because you read the Facebook and people actually traveling. That was... And the other pushback, I know Chamber of Commerce in Timmins, very vocal on behalf of the businesses, very strong organization. Also, the various high schools that wanted to have an outdoor ceremonies, and people have posted, this is Walmart, faced people back to each other, and they were going to plan to have an open field in a sports facility. And there's a lot of pushback, and it's a difficult decision. I respect that, but my heart goes out to the businesses. I mean, that's everything else could be fixed later. Graduations, redone or virtual, but the businesses that are smaller size or medium are taking it very, very hard. I know that, but thank you.
Thank you for your update, Councillor Spanik. And I have to agree, yeah, the businesses are taking the hit for sure. Councillor Peter Kistemaker, go ahead.
I have nothing to report at this time, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kistemaker. Just from where I've been sitting, I attended Federation's Canadian Municipalities Conference. I had never been to one before. I have to say that I think there are opportunities for Hornepayne to network at this level, especially with our holistic revitalization plan. And I will be speaking at a rural development network meeting next week. And I see some synergies that could be had with making connections, especially with communities similar of size and of issues that we deal with. I think that's one thing that we can be as a small community and leverage that knowledge is, instead of looking to the south of Ontario for answers, let's go to other communities that have similar demographics, similar problems, and we can make those connections at FCM. And I had never been a proponent of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. It seemed to me very big, like how would Hornepayne even contribute to that forum. But the one thing I have to say, out of all the conferences that have been done virtually this year, the FCM conference was done at just amazingly well. It had so many different platforms. They engaged social media, and on the front page, the home page, the screen you looked at, so you could watch the ongoing presentations, and then there was a running scroll of the social media tweets. So if I tweeted, like in the elections of officers, a friend of mine, Deputy Mayor Kelly Elliott, was running as a director for Ontario, and she did get elected, which is great for our community to know somebody. And but the social media tweets were coming up so that all the members, even if you weren't on social media, you were getting all these tweets, which we are finding, right, Council, is that there's a lot of, with the older guard of council, the people that have been there many, many years, don't necessarily have the social media capabilities that some of the newer councillors do, or the younger councillors, or the people that are just Facebook, social media, Twitter savvy, right? But what was nice was that it included everybody. Whether you were on social media or not, you got to see this feed, you could scroll this feed. So it was really, really well done that way. And the other portion that they did, which was amazing, was they did, it was a scavenger hunt on the platform where you had to find codes to get into the prize draw. So just for council that hasn't ever been to AMO or some of the other conferences, usually you take your badge at the end of the day, at the last session, to get everybody to attend right to the end. You put your badge into a draw. Well, this was interactive because some of the prize codes, you had to interact with the trade show floor to get the prize code. So I interacted with some people that I would never have even talked to, and it was really good. Some of it we might not ever use, but the connections were really, really well done. The one company that I do want to highlight is called Watershed, and they do collaborative strategic thinking, and they put you into big groups and solve problems for your community. And the thing that I thought was, if we could put together a plan, this might be the way that we could solve the Hallmark Center. Because basically what they do is we get them to help us with the plan, because they aren't going to be cheap, but they get all the players that need to be there, and then they just bring solutions to the problem. So and they do have a website, you can look them up. They have worked with groups in our area, and I read all of the documents that they had, and I thought, you know what, this might be what part of the answer to us solving our issue with the mall in our community. So into the future, I do hope, and I do really encourage a member of council that has that bigger thinking hat of how to connect Hornepayne to the rest of the country and how we can help other communities. I really think that is the avenue, is to get involved with FCM. And if anyone, and all of the material is online, you can Google it and find it. But it was really well done. The other item that came from that, and I do have an article that I'm going to share with Gail that I read in another paper, and it coincided with FCM, was naming of facilities, that there's an actual bylaw, I believe it's called, that you create to name facilities. And then what happens is, and not just facilities like parks, all of that. So what happens is you have a uniform way that the community can participate, and then there's no question about why did this park get named this way. So that was interesting as well. From there, I have, like Gail had said in her report, we had a couple meetings about the airport, and the letter and the survey will go out. And Gail, we're sending that all to council too, so they can see it all as well.
Yeah, I can do that for sure.
Yeah, let's do that, just so everyone's on the same page. So that was the direction given, to try and find more funding for our airport to do the extension. Just one of the highlights that I have to say in my preliminary research, calling an airport user for many, many years, was that the 100 feet, the widening is imperative. That was one of the take backs I had, was the widening is imperative to do. That if you want to be a player in the airport, business. So further than that, I do have good roads tomorrow and Friday, so I will be in those meetings tomorrow and Friday. And I don't think there's anything else, unless you have questions for me, Council. Go ahead, Councillor Stefanik.
Did you win at the FNC?
Oh,
You left us hanging there, okay?
Yes, I
Like-
did. I didn't win the big prize. There was this one guy, I actually messaged him. I'm like, how are you getting all these points? Because I was 300 points behind the main leader, but I did win. And I shared this information actually with Gail from Municipal Information Network. I won their prize. So there's an iPad coming in the mail for me. There you go. Yes, I did win. So
Thanks for sharing it after I asked you. Thank you.
To share, because I want to give that plug in about Municipal Information Network. Oh, thank you for your question, leading me along. But yeah, so now that's all I have, unless there are any other further questions. Okay, then we'll move on. And we have 17, we have a bylaw that we've been working on for a few months now. I say we like we did, the staff has been working on our behalf. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Drago and Peter. Moved by Drago Stefanik, second by Peter Kistemaker. Be it resolved that bylaw number 1862, being a bylaw to regulate the speed of vehicular traffic on the connecting link of Highway 631, Leslie Avenue to Becker Road, hereby read a first and second time and be considered read a third time and finally passed. Is there any discussion on the motion? I just want to say that Councillor Belinda Kistemaker had asked me about this, about had we decided, and I don't know if Belinda, if you'd like to speak to your trial run of going 40 kilometers, which we kind of had a funny discussion over this. You're on mute there. Oh, there we go.
So I tried to do the 40 kilometers. I tried to do it up the hill, through the town and to Becker Road, even coming in from Becker Road. And I was thinking, oh my God, they're going to kill us. So it's very hard to do, but I just know in front of my house, I'm glad we're doing it because the vehicles are coming in too slow. And when I talked to Cheryl, we talked about where the signs were, where you're putting them. And yes, it should work out. But I thought, if you've tried to do that 40 kilometers, it's hard.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to hats off to you because that's going out into the field and really trying it and seeing, but it will start, just so people know that it is Leslie and second half. So it'll be 50 kilometers. That'll stay up until, so you'll go from 80 to 50 to 40. And then carry on out. You'll go 40, then to 50, then back to 70 onto Becker.
Yeah.
Okay.
All I can think of is we're in trouble.
Yeah. You might stall going up that curved hill there. But anyway, so we got that cleared up. So I'll put the motion to a vote. Those in favor? And that is carried. Okay, and just one final question on that. When will the signs go up for that, Gail? Do we even have 40 kilometer signs? We must, because they're in our town.
Well, we have to send this to the MTO now to be final approval, and then it doesn't come into effect until they approve it. So the signs will go up after that. So whether we have any in stock or not, I'm not really sure, but they're very easy to get.
Okay, so and do we know how long it's going to be for the MTO part? Do they usually, like things like this, does it usually take longer?
Well, I've never done this particular thing with them before, but we did have them look it over beforehand, and that was a bit of a process. But now that it's had its first sort of review by them, a month maybe, I'm thinking.
Okay, okay, good.
I don't think it'll be extraordinarily long.
Yeah, okay, right on. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, moving on, council. 1819, and now we're moving into a closed session. Go ahead, Councillor Stefanik.
Sorry, if I just make a final comment, I have a special thank you to make. My iPad was down. I think I was invaded by Vladimir Putin from Russia because it went blank. And I thank Shannon. She responded very quickly, efficiently, and she solved the problem. Well, she was at her place and I was in mine. I truly like to thank Shannon for that. It saved me a lot of headaches. Thank you, Shannon.
Right on. Thank you for that, Councillor Stefanik. Okay, just before I close up this part, of course, I'm not going to be in the closed session with you, Council. Would you like a break beforehand of going into your closed? Okay, I'm not seeing anything for that. So if I can get a mover and a seconder to close this portion, please. Drago and Peter. And Gail, you'll just, I'll put my text on. You can just text me for when we're back in, okay? Moved by Drago Stefanik, second by Peter Kistemaker. Be it resolved that the next portion of the meeting at 7:56 p.m. be closed to the public in order to discuss personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipality or local board employees, pursuant to Section 239(2)B of the Municipal Act 2001. Those in favor? And that is carried. Okay, we'll see you back here or back at our second meeting link later.
Conference will now be recorded.
Great, thank you. Okay, if I can get a mover and a seconder to return to open, please. Peter and Drago. Moved by Peter Kissemaker, second by Drago Stefanik. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby return to open council at 8:22 p.m. Those in favor? And Belinda, are you in favor? Yep, that is carried. Okay, is there a motion or anything arising from closed session? I'm not exactly sure. We've never been in this situation before. Gail?
I think Councillor Kissmaker will do this, do the summary from closed,
Okay,
and then table a resolution.
perfect. Councillor Kissemaker? You're just on mute there, Belinda.
I don't think I have the right one that I'm looking for, but I'll try and pull it off here. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Peter and Drago?
Would you like me to read it out for you, Belinda?
Please, yeah, because I don't have it on my thing. Okay.
One sec.
So I'm still in a declaration then, Gail, at this point, and I'm not going to participate. Okay.
Yes, and I'll
Yes.
put that on the bottom of the resolution as
Okay.
well.
Mute my mic and I'm
Okay. So you have your mover and seconder?
Yes,
Okay.
Drago and Peter.
Okay. Be it resolved that having considered the request that council deems it expedient, oh, sorry, I missed, no, I didn't. Be it resolved that having considered the request that council deems it expedient and in the best interest of ratepayers to not proceed with the request which was discussed in closed session.
All in favor? Okay,
So now Mayor Fort can take back over.
thank you.
Thank you.
okay. Thank you for that. So moving on then to our adjournment and our confirmatory. If I can get a mover and a seconder, please. Drago and Peter. Moved by Drago Stefanik, second by Peter Kistemaker. Be it resolved that bylaw 1863, by being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at their regular meeting held on Wednesday, June 16th, 2021, be hereby read a first and second time and be considered read a third time and finally passed. Those in favor? And that is carried. And our final resolution to adjourn. And get a mover and seconder, please. Belinda or Peter and Belinda. Moved by Peter Kistemaker, second by Belinda Kistemaker. Be it resolved that council does hereby adjourn this regular meeting of council held on Wednesday, June 16th, 2021 at 8:26 p.m. And those in favor? And that is carried.
Yay.
Thank